Some big Diddy news this morning as two documentaries are competing to reveal damning evidence against the disgraced mogul, including the fact that his mother did what?
He already knew what he wanted.
I can be your manager, just give me a chance.
I went to a lot of puffy parties. These were the parties that you needed exclusive access to get into.
He thought that if people fear him, they respect him.
Honestly, I didn't want to be around him unless there was cameras.
Nobody's shooting me. Nobody's shooting me. Nobody's shooting me.
When Puff was around, it was like, uh-oh, get it together or this could be over.
You got me acting crazy in front of all these people.
Something is not right with this.
This whole new situation that we've just uncovered has hit Diddy like an absolute bombshell. His so-called friends, they've all abandoned him one by one. But his mother turning her back on him too? Well, that's a betrayal that cuts deeper than anything he could have imagined. Apparently, she walked away with millions of dollars after believing he was going to lose the case. It's a level of betrayal that's almost unbelievable. And Diddy? Well, let's just say he's far from taking it in stride. He's not handling this one well at all.
I'm a savage! Oh! I'm a savage! Whatever I want, I'm going to get! Whatever I want, I have to get!
Let's get into one of the most jaw-dropping twists in Diddy's already wild saga, the sudden and mysterious disappearance of his mother, Janice Combs. This is the same woman who stood by his side through every controversy, every scandal, and every legal battle. And now, she's vanished. No warning, no explanation, just gone. Now, this isn't some case of a celebrity mom going off the grid for a little peace and quiet. This feels way bigger than that. We're talking about a woman who spent weeks defending her son, calling the allegations against him unfair, even going as far as to say he was being publicly lynched. She wanted the world to hear his side of the story before jumping to conclusions. So why would she suddenly up and leave? And not just leave, she fled the country. And let's be real, you don't just abandon your son in the middle of the biggest legal battle of his life unless there's a very good reason. So let's rewind a bit. For years there have been rumors, whispers about Janice's deeper involvement in Diddy's world, things that go beyond just being a supportive mother. Some even claim she played a bigger role in shaping the man he became, and not necessarily in a good way. At this point, it's safe to say we all know about the wild and crazy parties Diddy has thrown over the years, right? But what if I told you that he actually got his first taste of that lifestyle at home, at parties hosted by his own mother when he was just a kid? It all started in their house in Mount Vernon. And according to people who grew up around them, these weren't your average neighborhood get-togethers, no backyard barbecues, no simple family gatherings. These were on a whole different level, extravagant, exclusive, and, according to some, deeply troubling. The kind of parties that made people wonder what was really going on behind closed doors. Tim Patterson, one of Diddy's longtime friends, painted a disturbing picture of those early years, describing nights that were nothing short of chaotic and deeply unsettling. He claimed that as a kid, it wasn't unusual to wander into rooms filled with activities no child should ever witness. And here's the part that really makes you think. Patterson even suggested that growing up in that kind of environment may have planted the seeds for the behaviors Diddy is now being accused of.
People who become offenders, we oftentimes see early exposure to sexuality, whether that's pornography or actual behavior, and we oftentimes see that within the family. And so, that kind of environment growing up in is going to have an impact on a child growing up. Now, it doesn't make excuses for what people do in adulthood, and the form that can take really depends on a lot of different things, including things such as what are the family values.
Now, this is where things get complicated. Janice Combs has always been portrayed as a fiercely protective mother, someone who worked tirelessly to give her son a better life. She sent him to private schools, made sure he was always dressed in the best clothes, and even moved the family to a better neighborhood after the tragic loss of Diddy's father. On the surface, she seemed like a mother doing everything she could to give her son opportunities. But how does that image fit with the unsettling stories of those parties? Could it be that she was simply doing what she thought was necessary to provide for her son, even if it meant ignoring the chaos happening around her? Or was she more involved in that world than anyone ever knew? Insiders are already whispering that her sudden disappearance could be an attempt to avoid getting dragged into the legal mess. Because if those wild childhood parties were really as bad as some claim, then Janice wouldn't just be a bystander. She could very well be called to testify. And if she were put under oath, what exactly would she say? But here's where things get even messier. Janice didn't just leave quietly. According to some sources, she allegedly took millions with her, money that Diddy, now drowning in legal fees, desperately needs. So now the real question is, was she running out of fear, trying to escape a situation she wanted no part of? Or was she making a calculated move, cutting ties and securing her future while she still had the chance? Either way, one thing is clear. She left Diddy completely stranded at the worst possible time. And let's not forget the ripple effect this is having on the rest of the Combs family. Diddy's children, who are already under intense media scrutiny because of their father's legal troubles, are now dealing with the shocking reality that their own grandmother just up and disappeared. Now, some people believe that Janice didn't just disappear to avoid legal trouble. She ran because she finally realized the truth about her son. For years, she defended Diddy against every accusation, standing by his side no matter what. But according to Gene Deal, one of Diddy's former bodyguards, she may have been ignoring a pattern that was there all along. And the most disturbing part? That pattern didn't just affect his girlfriends. Diddy allegedly even put his hands on his own mother. Gene Deal claims that during one of the darkest periods of Diddy's life, the City College tragedy, where a deadly stampede at a concert he organized led to multiple deaths, Diddy was placed on self-harm watch. It was during this time that Gene witnessed something shocking. Diddy slapped his own mother. At first, Gene tried to rationalize it. He thought maybe it was just the stress of the tragedy. Maybe it was an isolated incident. But as time went on, he started seeing things differently. He realized this wasn't just a one-time emotional outburst. This was part of a much bigger pattern. And that wasn't the only time Diddy allegedly disrespected Janice. Gene also recalled another chilling moment where Diddy cursed at his own mother, telling her to stay out of his business.
When we was getting in the limousine, he cussed his mother out. He told his mother to stay out of his mofo business.
Now, what makes Janice's disappearance even more alarming is the fact that the FBI is watching. While she hasn't been charged with any crimes, her deep connection to Diddy's affairs makes her a potential person of interest. Some believe it's only a matter of time before her name is added to a wanted list, especially if it turns out she holds key information that could blow the case wide open. Right now, no one knows exactly where she is. Some whispers suggest she's hiding in Europe, while others claim she's somewhere in the Caribbean, far from the public eye. But one thing is certain, staying off the grid in today's digital world is no easy feat. Now, let's break this down. What does Janice's escape really mean? For starters, it paints a picture of a woman who might not be as innocent as she's tried to appear. Publicly, she's always stood by Diddy, defending him with the fierce loyalty of a mother. But actions speak louder than words, and her sudden disappearance tells a different story, one that hints at self-preservation, or maybe even guilt. Could it be that she knows something the world doesn't? And if she does, what does that mean for Diddy's case? Her absence also throws a wrench into Diddy's legal defense. His team has been working overtime to frame him as a victim of exaggerated claims. But how can they argue that when one of his strongest supporters, the woman who raised him, has suddenly distanced herself? It doesn't look good, to say the least. As for Diddy, he did not take this news well at all. In fact, the moment he found out, he completely lost it. He went into a full-blown frenzy, shouting, pacing, and trying to get answers. Those close to him say he was in a state of pure panic, unable to process what was happening.
According to a report from the Daily Mail, that's why Diddy had a breakdown. A person close to him apparently said, quote, "Spending the holidays behind bars was a nightmare for him." If we're to believe all this, Diddy had a meltdown in his cell and begged the guards to take him to the hospital for observation, but they refused.
Just like you heard, a close friend revealed that Diddy had a total meltdown in his cell. Desperate and in distress, he was begging the guards to take him to the hospital, but they refused. After hours of spiraling, he somehow managed to calm himself down using the meditation techniques he'd learned during his time in jail. This isn't the first time Diddy's mental health has raised alarms behind bars. When he first arrived, he was placed on self-harm watch, his every move monitored for his own safety. Soon after, he was transferred to a special protective unit for a couple of weeks. But now he's back in the general population, where most inmates are housed. It was in this environment that his recent breakdown occurred, highlighting just how intense the pressure is becoming for him.
I'm a savage! Oh! I'm a savage! Whatever I want, I'm going to get! Whatever I want, I have to get!
The drama doesn't stop there. Other prisoners have begun filing lawsuits against Diddy, adding even more fuel to the fire. One of the most shocking claims comes from Jonathan Audie, a man who was arrested back in 2018 after a shooting incident at Trump's National Doral golf course. During his interrogation, Jonathan made explosive allegations, claiming that Diddy forced him into being an S-slave. He also accused a so-called gay mafia in Hollywood of pressuring him into committing crimes.
Do you know Sean Combs?
Puff Daddy.
Yeah.
P. Diddy, whatever you call himself these days. Yeah, go ahead.
The man who allegedly opened fire inside of one of former President Donald Trump's Florida hotels several years ago made some wild statements to law enforcement in his interviews, saying he was a slave for Sean Diddy Combs.
The drama intensifies with another jaw-dropping claim that's sure to leave your head spinning. This time, it's from Cardello Smith, another prisoner currently behind bars on charges of alleged SA. He's suing Diddy, claiming that the mogul framed him for the crime. And the plot thickens. Cardello actually won a $100 million lawsuit against Diddy, but Diddy's legal team is fighting fiercely to have that decision overturned. According to Cardello, the trouble all began back in 1997 at a party at a Holiday Inn in Detroit, where he worked as a bartender. He alleges that Diddy orchestrated the alleged mistreatment and, to make matters even more explosive, claims that Diddy even filmed it. Here's where things get even juicier. Cardello asserts that none other than Jennifer Lopez, aka J-Lo, saw the tape. He accuses her of knowing about the video, but remaining silent, never going to the authorities or offering any help. In his lawsuit, Cardello says that Jennifer Lynn Lopez, yep, the one and only Jenny from the block, will be called as a key witness. He claims that she knew about the tape, which was allegedly recorded, distributed, and stored at Diddy's New York home and studio. According to him, during their relationship from 1999 to 2001, J-Lo was fully aware of the tape's existence. And here's the kicker. Cardello claims that a New York detective, Derek Palmer, questioned J-Lo about the video. And according to him, J-Lo admitted that it was real.
Everything that you're looking at, they're all tied in together. Every part, as crazy as this seems, as outrageous as it seems, it all ties in. Every bit of it, every facet.
A man who's been in and out of prison since the 90s and is known in the Michigan criminal justice system for filing multiple lawsuits and appeals has a new target in his sights: Sean Diddy Combs.
With all this chaos unfolding, if the rumors are true about Diddy's mom running off with his money, it could be game over for him. No funds mean no high-profile defense team, which might leave Diddy without the legal muscle to fight the battle ahead. Add to that the brutal living conditions at MDC, and you've got a recipe for disaster. But wait, it gets crazier. Wild rumors are flying that Diddy is actually being attacked in prison. And now that he's been moved to the general population, the danger is escalating. The superstar who once had millions of adoring fans is now just another inmate in the system, trying to survive in a world where none of his fame or wealth matters. The people around him couldn't care less about his name or his bank account. They're focused on one thing: survival. In the harsh environment behind bars, every moment is a battle. From fighting for a spot in line to scrambling for a seat at mealtime, tensions run high, and the smallest things can turn into explosive confrontations. Former inmates have spoken about living in constant fear, not knowing when the next fight or a savage brawl will erupt. It's a dangerous world where the stakes are always high, and for someone like Diddy, a high-profile target, the risks are even greater. His celebrity status has painted a big target on his back. People who have nothing to lose see him as a symbol of wealth and fame, and they'll do anything to make a name for themselves in this cutthroat world. Some of these inmates are serving life sentences, and they're desperate for attention. For them, taking on a celebrity like Diddy might seem like their ticket to notoriety.
You have your bed with a 1.5-inch mattress, no pillow, and you also have a locker. So you basically have 3 feet by 5 feet to move around. So you have a basic 15 square feet. It is a horrible, horrible place.
According to ex-prisoners, Diddy's daily routine in the general population is a far cry from the luxurious life he once enjoyed. His day starts with a 6 a.m. wake-up call, and let's face it, he's probably not getting much rest before then. The prison is eerily quiet at night, with only the occasional scream breaking the silence, leaving Diddy tossing and turning on his uncomfortable mattress. It's a stark contrast to the plush $40 million mansion he used to wake up in, surrounded by soft sheets, grand rooms, and amenities like a theater, beauty salon, and pool with an underground water tunnel. Now in his current cell, his reality is far more grueling. The room likely lacks natural light, illuminated only by a harsh strip light that casts a cold glow. His bed, bolted to the floor and made of iron, offers zero comfort. His only luxury is a small ensuite with a sink and toilet. That's it. He spends 23 hours a day in this claustrophobic space, sometimes sharing it with a few cockroaches. Maybe he's even named one by now just to pass the time. Family visits and lawyer consultations are about the only relief Diddy gets. But even that can't escape the daily grind of prison life. Each morning he's got to make his bed, mop the floor, and keep the toilet and sink clean. Definitely a far cry from the days when staff did everything for him. And food? Forget about caviar and Michelin star meals. Now Diddy's eating powdered scrambled eggs, white bread, milk, and sweet juice. Definitely not the 5-star spread he's used to. His 3 meals a day barely add up to 1,800 calories, which is the legal minimum. But the downside? The food is often served cold and is far from appetizing. Mystery meat and cold hot dogs? Yeah, not exactly gourmet dining. There are even reports of maggots being found in the meals. Talk about a nightmare for anyone, especially someone who used to dine in some of the world's finest restaurants. On the plus side, Diddy still has access to the prison commissary, where he can buy snacks, coffee, and even a radio to break up the monotony. But his $160 bi-weekly budget is a far cry from his former lavish spending habits. For a man who once sported a $500,000 diamond-studded gold chain, being restricted to such a small allowance must sting. As for personal hygiene, things are equally grim. The showers at MDC are filthy, with mold, grimy tiles, and a stench you wouldn't wish on your worst enemy. For someone who probably spent hours in luxurious spas, this is a major downgrade. The plumbing is a mess too. 800 work orders in 1 month alone, showing just how bad the situation is. Broken pipes, clogged drains. Diddy's now dealing with issues he probably never even thought about. And MDC is notorious for its brutal conditions. Inmates report stabbings happening a couple of times a week, with homemade knives being common. The prison is known as hell on earth for a reason. In one chilling incident, an inmate was stabbed multiple times but was left without medical help, placed on a 25-day lockdown instead. It's a grim reminder of the savagery inside. Corruption runs rampant too. In the past 5 years, 6 correctional officers were fired for smuggling contraband, phones, illegal substances, razors, and scalpels into the facility. Some officers are even involved in gangs, further destabilizing an already chaotic environment. With corruption and savagery at an all-time high, MDC is one of the worst places a person could end up. Despite its reputation, it's where high-profile prisoners like Diddy find themselves. And as his time in there drags on, things aren't likely to get any easier. Additionally, the fact that Diddy's mother has seemingly vanished and his daughters aren't even visiting him is a heavy blow, hitting him right where it hurts. It's almost as if the walls are closing in on him. While he's still awaiting his trial this coming May, it seems that the very people who once stood by him, colleagues, friends, and even family, are distancing themselves, making it appear as though they don't even know him anymore. With Janice's disappearance adding even more mystery to the mix, fans are convinced that Diddy is crumbling under the weight of it all. Some even believe Janice knew exactly what was going on and is hiding away, trying to distance herself from the fallout. On the other hand, there are still those who place the blame squarely on Diddy's shoulders. One commenter perfectly summed it up. Yes, Diddy's mother did pave the way for her son to become the man, the monster he is now. But Diddy is a 50-plus-year-old man who by now knows right from wrong. It's up to him to choose right from wrong. Diddy did have a choice, but he chose fame and fortune over doing what was right. I blame his mother because she created this monster, but I also blame Diddy for the choices he made. It's a tough pill to swallow, but there's no denying that Diddy, as an adult, had the ability to choose a different path. His actions may have been influenced by his past, but ultimately, he made decisions that have led him down this dark road. The way he tried to keep his alleged actions hidden only shows that he knew what he was doing was wrong, and the consequences are finally catching up with him. So what do you think? Is Diddy's downfall all his mother's fault, or is he solely responsible for his actions? Do you think his mother has run away with Diddy's millions, or is there something else going on? Let's get a conversation going in the comments below. And while we wait for more updates, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and check out our other videos for all the latest gossip.